Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the African Fighters again. Today, we have a special guest on the show. Apart from the familiar face of Farouk, we have our boy Mayowa Balogun. Mayowa Balogun is the founder of Combat Sports NG. Mr. Balogun, introduce yourself. Well, I've done that already. My bad.
Mayowa Balogun, I'm doing that already. I'm happy to be here with my bosses,
No, happy to have you.
Trying to be like my guys.
I beg,
we're happy to have you here.
No, they why not? It's ladies and gentlemen.
Happy to be here, guys.
It's a Nigerian thing. It's a Nigerian thing for someone to call you a boss. It doesn't really mean anything. Okay. So as the same way we'll call him the senior man. So, anyways,
yeah. I'm just happy to be here, guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Yeah. So we'll be talking about Reug Reug. Reug Reug, the Senegalese heavyweight loot Senegalese wrestler that transitioned into MMA. Recently, there's been a controversy with his name where he was in his last professional fight. He lost the fight via some unnatural causes. some controversy. The video is playing right now, so you would understand. So here's what happened after the finish of the second round. Reug Reug, his opponent. Farouk, what's the name of the opponent again?
I think Kirill Grishenko.
Yeah,
Grishenko. Kirill Grishenko. Yeah.
I'll take that again. So after the end of the second round, Grishenko took a swing just at the buzzer, or maybe some people will argue maybe a millisecond after the buzzer, and we saw Reug Reug grab his throat and go to the ground. So a lot of people have been saying that Reug Reug maybe sold the fight out, or he
took a dive or something like that.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm going to start with Farouk. So Farouk, what do you think? Would you say that Reug Reug took a dive, or was he legitimately struck with the Grishenko punch?
Yeah, I'll talk briefly about the fight in totality. Like, it was a poor performance from Reug Reug. Like, it was like we expected more from him, and he performed below expectation. So throughout the fight, you can see him not knowing what to do, being clueless at some point in time. So at some point I was even dragging Grishenko shot, thinking it was like a loot wrestling. So he was kind of lost and he was tired. So what he thought would happen, he believed that by taking a dive or by falling down, because I didn't think it was like a severe punch, to be honest. It came exactly before the buzzer, but he just went down and he made a big deal out of the whole situation. So I expected him to continue with the fight. It's not as if he was seriously hot like this Jamaican guy in the UFC who was hot by and who was nailed by Aljo. It wasn't like the Aljo incident. Aljo incident was a bit more severe. But I expected him to come back and continue the third, but he didn't do that. Maybe he thought he was going to win by disqualification, which unfortunately for him, he didn't get that. So overall, it's a disappointing performance, and I believe Reug Reug took a dive there, to be honest.
Okay. Mayowa, can we hear what your input is about?
So I have a different feeling for the fight. I think I don't think Reug Reug was that disappointed in the fight. Because I didn't watch the fight live because I was busy that day. Those fights are they were time for us that live here. Those one FC fights. So when I watched it later, because I saw everybody saying, "Oh, he was so disappointed," and I watched the fight later, I didn't think he did as badly as people thought he did. The guy he fought was better than him by far. And I think that the one did a poor job of matchmaking him so quickly. But the guy that's good. I mean, that's his third fight this year in how many months? That's crazy. Yeah. They shouldn't put him in the ring that fast. And if they do, they shouldn't put him with people in the ring that fast with people that are that good that quickly, right? So I do think that was the first issue that I had with the whole thing. And then I think it was hit after the bell on his throat. I think the fight. Yeah. I think there was no contest. I do think that he wanted to find a way out. But I also think that the fight, like, you can't win a fight off of like he wasn't getting beat badly in the fight. He was in the clinch. He was in the clinch a lot. He was pushing the guy on the cage a lot. So it wasn't like the fight was not competitive at all. I think there was competition going on. I don't think it was gassed and he couldn't continue. And he found a way out. I agree with that, but I don't think he should have lost the fight. I think it should have been a no contest.
Okay.
No contest.
Okay, so my own opinion about it, I'm kind of in between what you people, the two of you are talking about, because the problem is in the first round of the fight when he tried to, because I can't remember exactly everything because it's been a while that I watched the fight, but what I can remember is in the first round, if it was in a UFC fight, you know, they score the matches round by round, but in one championship they score the matches as a whole. But like in the first round, I would give it to Grishenko because Reug Reug attempted takedowns, but he couldn't get it. So as he couldn't get takedowns, they stayed in clinch, and in clinch, he sort of like have muscle memory from his Senegalese wrestling, because in Senegalese wrestling they could stay in clinch, grab the shots or grab the tights or whatever and stay there. He wouldn't even like throw knees or body shots. Only after Grishenko does. When Grishenko throws a knee, then he would remember, oh yeah, I can throw a knee back. Then he throws a knee back. You understand? So they stayed in clinch like that for the most of the rounds, with Grishenko taking all the points. In the second round, it was a bit more, he raised his performance a bit more higher. I feel like due to him raising his performance a bit higher, he got tired. You understand? I wouldn't say like it was like a one-way slope. I wouldn't say it was disappointing. I would say that it's like him jumping in a sea of sharks now. You understand? Because the level of talent is not the same from what he used to. You understand? Because just like he said, the matchmaking did not favor him. Sure. Because the Grishenko guy is a wrestler, and for a heavyweight wrestler, amateur freestyle wrestling is different from loot wrestling, and we'll get into that. You understand? So I honestly feel he was tired in the second round. After the second round, when he got struck, he kind of played it a bit dramatic because, dude, we've seen people knocked out, right? We've seen people knocked out, but they would still stand up and walk. This dude was taken off in a stretcher. What? He was taken off on a stretcher, and then a few hours after the show, he posted on Instagram that they would challenge this L. They'll probably turn it to a no contest because he was illegally struck. So for him to already think about that, that means in his mind he was thinking that it was going to be a no contest, or he was going to get the other guy would get disqualified. So in that, with that being said, I feel like he was not as badly as injured as he claimed he was. You understand? I do not.
But to be fair, I think we need to agree, and I've watched the fight over and over. The strike was after the bell. It was not.
After. Well, you could say a millis, but hey, in fighting, they say don't stop fighting unless the ref pulls you off your opponent, right? Until the ref interferes. That's what. And what would Masvidal say? Super necessary. so
you know what happened? I agree with Mayowa to some extent. Again, Mayowa is more of like a UFC guy. Confirm UFC guy. If it's in UFC, to be a no contest, no doubt about that. UFC will look into that critically.
No, but you know what's crazy? There was a fight in one. I think it was Eddie Alvarez that fought.
Eddie Alvarez,
and this is also this year.
Yeah.
Guy illegally.
Yeah, back of the head.
And it wasn't like an illegal punch. It was just like it was hitting the guy, and the guy turned his head.
And the guy sold it. And the guy sold it. Yeah, he took the guy. Yeah.
You know, so and that's the same one championship. So I don't know. So we don't even know what they choose.
What is allowed, what is not allowed anymore. Yeah, I get your point.
They're complicated.
So now the question is, how soon are we expecting to? Before that, like you said, Reug Reug was rushed, and also I think if he had won this fight, he would be going next for a title fight, because the hype behind that guy, is Senegalese in general, those guys are hyped about combat sport and martial arts. The problem is that they don't speak English, so there's that language barrier. So we cannot actually see that passion being translated to the general public or to the entire world. But those guys are behind their fighters like 247. Like they come to our page asking when is the fight happening. those who can speak English, they write in, some even write in French. So they follow their fighters. So that support, and people are seeing that that hype, like the viewership from Africa is being like so massive. So I
Yeah,
believe after that fight, we'll just be going straight into the title fight.
coupled with Ngannou, he would have. I agree with Farouk. He would have probably been shot into the title fight. Heavyweight champion right now is an Indian guy. What's his name? I kind of
something Bula, right?
Bolas,
yeah.
something.
So he's a heavyweight champion.
I think it's KB Arjan Bola.
Yeah, I believe if Reug Reug had won that fight, that would have been his next fight. It would have been like India versus Senegal. But well, cheers to Reug Reug, guys. It takes a lot of gut to switch discipline in martial arts, most especially from a discipline that is safer than MMA. So yeah, cheers to him. I would love to see more loot Senegalese wrestlers come into the MMA scene and polish their striking and develop more on grappling. So yeah, I think.
So what do you think is next for Reug Reug? Are we going to see him back soon, or do you think there are work to be done? Do you think he needs to improve his skill set? What do you think is advice? Let's give him advice. Let's hear what do you think is next for him? How does he go about it?
Yeah, Mayowa, over to you. What do you think?
I think he needs to take some time off for sure. And I've been seeing him training. I think they focus on a lot of the physical training for him.
Yeah,
like strength training. I don't think that he needs more strength. He needs to train.
I said the same to JB some days back. Yeah. He needs to focus on martial training, not physical training.
More cardio. I think he needs to work on his striking. He strikes very wild, and even the fights that he has won, he's striking wildly. And when I see him, I'm like, if he goes to the UFC, they're going to counter him quickly.
Yeah,
and knock him out very quickly. He needs to keep his hands up, work on his boxing and striking.
I agree. I agree totally. When the training videos he posts are mostly strength conditioning training. He doesn't really post things about striking. I wouldn't say that he doesn't train striking at all. Obviously, he would train striking, but he should make it a priority. You understand? I know it's
and BJJ as well. BJJ is important.
I know it's not easy. To like learn all the tricks in striking when you did not grow up striking. You understand? It's a lot. It takes a lot to understand the dynamic inside of it. You understand? Because there's what's called muscle memory. So when your muscle does not like realize how to put combos and how to counter a strike or how to fight behind a jab, all those sort of technical things, then there's a lot of work to be done. It's not, we can't say it's not possible, because look at Ngannou. Ngannou started boxing late, although it's not the same thing, but there's still light in the end of the tunnel for Reug Reug. He's quite young. He's 29, turning probably 30 now. So there's still space for him to develop, to polish all his other aspects of mixed martial arts.
Come on, Africans!